Real quick, we can watch this and we'll get that stage back. Can I get a space drill at Home Depot? It literally is the same thing. It's just rad hardened. Yeah, watch. Watch. Josh has been trying to put a bolt in here for like the past couple of minutes. There's the carabiner right there. That is it. I thought that was a carabiner for a tool, but no, Josh is trying to get the tensioning device for the panel working. So the tool is also strapped to your tool belt so you don't lose it, because if you let it go, it's just going to float away. Watch. There's the wires for the solar panels right there. Like I said, just 2 wires. 2 wires per panel. Easy peasy. It's direct current. Okay, how does the tensioner work? Let's see.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Alpha 1, counterclockwise to start and turn.
Okay, watch. There it goes. Why is that so cool in space? All he's doing is tightening a bolt, and watch, the panel gets tensioned. Happy holidays, Bout.
Popped out a little bit, but I definitely felt the tensioner. You can see a white line. I popped out 1/4 of an inch.
Copy, that's a good release. R11's good.
So the other tensioning bolt is over here. There it is. Right there. If I'm looking at that right. Watch. Do not release until solar array is confirmed fully deployed. Oh, okay. Oh, there's the tensioner. Watch. It's going to start turning this. See? It's on a worm gear and it's turning the tensioner. That whole thing is getting turned right there. Yep. Literally tightening a bolt. Tightening a bolt in space.
Their star is out. And I felt it react.
Cargo dragon in the bottom right. Yeah, I see it over there.
About 1/4 inch. Doesn't exactly top out. Do you want it? Do you want more turns on that?
Yeah, Coltec, right?
And we're good with them. More turns.
The teeth are... Okay, you can see in the heck, I can see that it's the teeth are no longer engaged.
Uh-oh.
On the tensioner itself.
Yep, and you can't overdrive it, so...
Oh, I see.
Okay. I think we're good on R12.
Copy, good release on R12.
Yep, space impact wrench.
And so, Josh, once you stow your PGT, we'll want to do a once-over on the mod kit to make sure all the MLI is in place. The one piece of equipment we've still got out there is the scoop. So if you want to grab that scoop...
This is legit, dude. Yeah, see? Carrot, look where they are, man. They're way far away from, like, the HAD modules on the station. They're really far away.
The ret is not going back where I expected it to be going to. Yep, it's wrapped around...
I did nearly, yep. This is live, guys. Yeah, this is happening right now.
My extender? Yep.
Watching 2 guys tighten some bolts in space. It's being streamed right to your computer. This is happening right now. Yeah. That's Josh Cassidy, Frank Rubio. Josh is over here, Frank's over there. No, Josh is there, Frank is over there.
PGT. And go,
they have EVMUs.
Yep. Maybe when I'm close to you, we'll just
on his back right there.
take my PGT out of the off swing arm. Yep. I'll go around it. That sound good? Yep. Alright. Alright.
This doesn't seem like a newer camera. I wish I'd go back into first-person view. It's really cool to see. Yeah. Oh, thank you. They're watching. See, now Josh is going to unhook. He's going to unhook because he's hooked in somewhere else, and he'll back away from the panel.
When I get this ret, we'll send it over to the cable bag.
And that's affirmative. So, Josh, you can ret to that scoop. You can take it over the cable bag. We were talking about whether it's worth you guys working together to try to put it in that cable bag, because it did take you a little bit to get it closed up. So we're also good if you want to just put it on your MWS and translate with it back on you.
I'm happy to do that. There's a good amount on here, but maybe
everything is billet on this thing because mass.
Yeah, and your guys' call, we're good on time.
Say it again, Josh. I just trying to figure out what you want to do with the scoop. I can put it on me.
How long have they been out there? They've been out there a good while.
Plan to put it in the cable bag. Yeah, let me look. If we can avoid opening the bag, it might be better.
There's Frank over there on the left.
I was thinking we were going to tether it and then try to jam it in the side. But if you want, I'm happy to put it right here on the front of my mini workstation. I mean, we can put it in here. Let's try it. I'll give you a little bit easier translation.
6 hour. Yeah, like I said, it took a long.
If we just jam it in here, it might just stay.
Took a long time to grab that.
All right. Can I pass it to you?
See, there's one of those handles, Carrot. They're all the same color for visibility. They're all like bronze and stuff. They're really easy to spot. They make it so it's contrast so you can see the damn thing. See, he's got his hand on one right here. It's like orange anodized aluminum or whatever. I don't know. It might be paint. I don't think it is though. But they make it so you repel from handle to handle.
Ready. You guys are right. I got it. Thank you.
Frank's got the tool bag on the left. See that thing with the A on it? That's the toolbox.
Oh, it's the verdict. Did it go in okay?
Yeah.
Give me one
in
second.
space, your toolbox is tethered to you as well, because it will float away if you don't tether it to something. It'll float away. They usually they literally have it strapped to their tool belt and it just floats with them.
Installed, deployed, and connected successfully. We're moving into some of the cleanup steps. One that
Putting
we're
the tools away.
seeing the work right now is getting one of those scoops, which are the...
I know people are wondering, why do they have mirrors on their gloves? It's because your helmet is facing forward and your head can move around inside of your helmet. You want to look behind you, hold the rearview mirror up.
So, Frank, you're going to put the cable bag on your BRT and translate that back inboard, leading the way. And Josh, you're going to have to translate out around the other side of the IEA.
Yeah, of course.
Before you start that, I'll check that. Once you get to where you're going, we're going to have you do a glove and half check.
Okay. So go to the opposite side of the IEA and then pause.
Yep, you've got...
I got a copy of me, right?
Yep, see? There's the tool bag. It's tethered to Frank's belt. See? And then Josh should be moving away from the solar panel now. We caught them right at the end of their work. They're basically packing up shop and they're gonna traverse back that way on the truss segment back to the airlock. How many tool bags have we lost? No, we haven't lost many tool bags, Pythos. No. No, the tool bags stay tethered. They do lose tools from time to time. It does happen. It's not that big of a deal. Most of the tools will decay because the ISS is in a decaying orbit and they use thrusters to keep it up there. Most of the tools will sink. They'll come back down. It's not like a debris threat to the station.
I've got...
Hey, Adrian.
2 stitches. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, in fact. So you can see... I won't mess with it, but you can see it kind of came unrolled there.
Wonder if we ever get slimmed down more compact EVA suits.
I do see 4 on the other side.
Okay, copy. Thanks for the words, Josh. Looks good. And also wanted to know if you had adjusted your TCV at all. We saw some data indications down here that thought you might have.
No, I don't think I changed it without talking to you.
Yeah, you don't want to lose stuff, guys, but sometimes it does happen. It's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to lose stuff.
I'm pretty sure I didn't omit any calls.
Okay, yeah, just checking with you.
So, like, a thing that you got to understand with EVAs, guys, is that it's very, when you're out EVAing and when you're out doing stuff, it's very easy for stuff to go wrong. Okay? So, it's almost so easy for something to go wrong that the only thing that you can really count on is something not doing exactly what you thought it was going to do. That could be anything from, like, an astronaut popping a hole in their glove, to the suit malfunctioning, to literally stripping a bolt. It's happened. Oh yeah, they do it too. Just like if anybody here works on cars, works on anything mechanical, stripping a bolt. Yeah, it's happened. Happens sometimes. So, like with the EVAs, it really comes down to like, what's your acceptable risk tolerance here? Like stuff can go wrong. So how badly can it go wrong? You know, like this EVA is working pretty well thus far, and I don't want to jinx anything, but you know, you got to be very careful with this. They're traversing over the battery module here. That's the P4 P5 truss segment, P4 P5 right there. There's the IROS, the solar array. If you guys notice, the solar array is slowly turning, yeah, there's a shuttle pallet over there. What is this EVA for? See that solar panel right there? The one that's kind of bent? The one with the white lines on the sides? They just installed it. So, with the EVAs, you just kind of just got to be careful and you got to go slow. It takes time to do this stuff, dudes. And you know, like, you're going to lose a tool. That stuff does happen. It's just it's just kind of a byproduct of the job site. Like, don't get me wrong. Josh and Frank haven't lost anything. They're fine. Frank has the toolbox. The toolbox is attached to his tool belt. The cool thing is that you can just tug your toolbox around. It just stays with you. Sometimes it's funny though. Sometimes the tools get in the way, and you see astronauts go, "Get the fuck out of the way!" You know, like they're working on a mechanical piece of equipment. Sometimes this stuff happens. You know, like I said, don't get me wrong. Nothing has gone wrong here. Everything is working just fine. But yeah, you know, you'll see them like check their gloves to make sure there's no leaks, because you know you may have grabbed something and it might pop a hole in the suit. You know, you just got to be careful. You got to be careful and you got to go slow, because EVAing egress outside of a spacecraft on orbit or in space is like, it's super freaking dangerous. It can go from being perfect to like not being perfect very, very quickly. You really have to be careful. And that's why they train. That's why they do a ton of training. Josh and Frank have probably done this 40 or 50 times easily on the ground. Practice like a full mission. And that's what NASA's NBL is for at Johnson Space Center. They have a full-size replica of the ISS submerged in a gigantic swimming pool. And that's where they practice EVAs. They literally put on their spacesuits. And the spacesuits can go underwater. It's airtight because it's a spacesuit. And they can go underwater, and they practice with the actual spacesuits, an actual replica of the ISS. They've done this a bajillion times. And even then, stuff still can go weird. Take that battery, for instance, right there. See, one of those batteries, those are the batteries on the ISS. One of them is not like the others. See that? If you looked at that battery, you see how it was taller? You know why it was taller? It's because it's the old battery, because they tried to replace that nickel hydrogen battery or whatever. They tried to replace it in the lithium battery that they put in there. It didn't work, so they just put the regular battery back in there. That's why one of those, that was from an EVA a couple years ago. Notice that one of those batteries, it wasn't like the others. Nickel metal hydride. That's the one. Thank you, sweet. Yeah. So like if you we'll back it up just a little bit. I'll show you. Look at Frank. See that battery is different than all the other batteries? It's because they tried to replace that one, and the lithium one that they put up there didn't work. Didn't work, so they just put the other one back in. That still works. They upgraded the ISS to lithium batteries. That's what all these little small guys are for. Lithium's a lot smaller.
Affirmative.
So like EVAs do go wrong. Like stuff does happen, but It's really how much stuff is going to go wrong, you know?
Go at throttle up.
There's a hole that the bolt is supposed to go through, and the MLI will not reach. I think when this was
Why don't they take
installed,
VR headsets up there and have them practice doing this in space? Who says they don't? There are VR headsets up there, Nuclear. I don't know if they practice EVAs with them. Do they still use Velcro to scratch their nose, or do they still use the... I have no idea.
Josh, if you can just hold position there, we've got a good video of it. Let us discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, look at everything up there, Coltec, is cast aluminum or billet. See those plates right there? It's all cast.
And Frank, you're good.
So I
I'm glad you like it, legit.
It looks like when I put Josh's red hook on my red Rio, it probably spun a couple times.
Welcome.
There's a full 2 racks here. I think I'm good to go up to the.
What is cast and billet?
Sure I see that. You're
How the part was manufactured?
Frank,
it was manufactured in a casting, or if it was billet on a CNC machine.
And Frank, you're go to continue.
They do sometimes wood bite, yeah.
Copy. And I'm sorry, which CETA card am I putting this bag in? The starboard or port? I think it's the port one. Copy, thanks.
It's the port CETA cart. You're just dropping the bag off temp stow so that we can go work the FSC beam.
So something's weird with an FSCB. I don't know the acronyms, guys. I'm not that good. Sorry. But yeah, you guys want to see something cool. The solar panels automatically track the sun.
Okay, Josh, thanks
Watch
for the views
this piece
and
right
the
here that's behind me. It's actually
We're
moving.
happy with the condition
It's
that
a
it's
pivot.
in.
It's a giant
so
axle
your go
that
to
moves.
translate back inboard.
This guy right here. It's moving.
Copy
It's
that.
very, very slow. That does 1 rotation every 90 minutes. So it's very, very slow movement. But the solar panel is moving to track the sun, which is cool. This whole part, the battery module, see where all the batteries are? It's all on a gigantic rotisserie on the truss segment, and it moves. Actually, I can show you. On our ISS model, that circular piece is exactly what I'm showing, right? Is exactly what they're showing, the fairing. It does that. The whole thing does that. Which is actually, that's cool. It's to track the sun. That's this piece right here. See that? That's the fairing plate. What you see over here is a shuttle pallet. That flew up on the space shuttle. It's got the pin and the locator. This is just a shuttle pallet that they put a bunch of experiments up, and then when the shuttle missions were ending, they just left the pallet there. Why not?
The next step is going to be working for the APFR removal. So when you get into a good position, you're going to work with Koichi and Duke to retrieve that APFR.
I don't know what an APFR is. See, there's the anodized handle. So they coat the handles because paint is weight. It's mass up to the station. So that they anodize the aluminum to make it different colors. So it's visible. So you don't have to paint the handles. Because think about it. If you put paint on those handles, the sun will just burn the paint right off. So see, they're all anodized aluminum handles here. See? Okay, so Josh is going to undo his tether here. Yep, there he goes. It's off camera. You can't see it. APFR is like advanced
Frank,
portable
you head over
foot
to the
restraint.
FSC,
Oh, okay.
give you those cautions again. Slow translation. Wait for any kind of motion to damp out before imparting loads. We can't simultaneously translate, and that's it.
Okay.
Copy that.
Okay, so the articulating portable foot restraint. So that's the okay, fellas, think a snowboard, right? Anybody here snowboard? A-Train, I know you snowboard. You told me the other day. So with a snowboard,
Frank,
you have your
so you're
snowboarding boots.
Loosen the adjustable equipment tether from the.
You have your snowboarding boots, and then you have bindings, right? The FPR is bindings, but instead of being attached to a snowboard, it's attached to the space station remote manipulator. So instead of like having to rappel all the way back, they can just go and attach their feet to the arm, and the arm can move them back to the airlock. I don't do either of them, Shatter. I skateboard. I had a few special guys I used to work with that wanted me to strip paint from anodized aluminum that wasn't painted, so that non-destructive inspection could do a dye penetrant. Interesting. I'm gonna move over there, guys, so we can see this. Well, you guys we're watching the EVAs. They're out. They installed a solar panel. You could just see the bottom of the solar panel that they installed. They put a new one on, and they literally strutted it. See the struts right there? They strutted the dang thing to the old solar panel. Like, that's what it looks like without one. And then this one has the new solar panel installed. They just put a solar panel in front of another solar panel. That's the easiest way to do it. Shatter, nice. I don't do either of those. I ride bikes. So legit sticks clipless. Clipless? You know the clipless pedals? Kind of like that. It's more of a restraint, though. It's more like a binding, but clipless pedals would be something more akin to that if you're talking about biking.
We are 6 hours,
There's a shuttle
8.5 minutes into today's spacewalk.
I don't know if you need the calm, but I'm going to have to take calm here for a little bit.
And then 6 hours out there.
And coming back around,
This might be a stupid question, but how physically exerting is an EVA? I mean, when these guys get back to the airlock, are they going to collapse from exhaustion? It's a workout, uncapping. It's a workout. The suit... So I was saying the suits weigh 600 pounds the other day, but I'm not so sure about that. If you Google it, it says 200 pounds. So or 280 pounds, I think is what it says. So let's just say 300, right? Call it a day with all the tools that they're carrying around. That's still 300 pounds of mass. 300 pounds of mass. Nice. So like 150 kilograms of mass. That's a lot. That's still a lot of stuff to move around. Even if it's up in EVA, it's still force moving on an object. You still have to lug that damn spacesuit around everywhere.
Again, we're almost.
Think of it like scuba diving almost, dude. Scuba diving will tire you out despite floating around in water. Yeah, EVAs. If I had to guess, you're probably going to be a little sore in the morning.
Integrated into the power system. And we were able to do that successfully. It's now been fully deployed. All the connections
full weight with a water
made.
pack and everything can be up to 350 if I recall.
So at this point, they're going through some of their cleanup steps. Frank Rubio, he's on the left there.
And Frank, so you're going to try to hand start that. There you go. It shouldn't overlap the end of the stanchion.
Yep. That's pretty hard. Thank you.
Dude, literally tightening a bolt in space.
Right now, Frank Rubio working to more permanently.
So we're looking for 2 turns on the hand start.
I'm not
looking to more permanently secure this FSE beam.
I think that was closer to 3, but you good?
See, look
Okay,
at this,
that
guys.
looks good.
Pilot dowels
So you'll translate
everywhere.
over to Stanchion Bravo and do the same with C5.
Dude, it's so freaking cool. What a view.
Okay, M2 EV2.
See, he's tethered right there? Those are the tethers. He'll undo one if he's going to move around.
Let's go ahead.
Okay. I'm ready for the GCA to
I still struggle to see how training underwater helps with this. Feels like the environment is just too different. It's not all that far off, Wilman. Yeah. Is it easier to move around underwater than it is walking around? Yeah. You float around in water. We're buoyant. Humans can be neutrally buoyant. You're technically, I mean, you're not in a liquid medium, but you're pretty buoyant up in space. It's very similar, dude.
And while Frank Rubio secures those beams which were moved out towards the beginning of our spacewalk
Why the mirror?
to clear the way for
It's a rearview mirror, dude. So, Haji, think about it like this. I talked about it a little bit earlier. That spacesuit is a spaceship. It's just a human-shaped spaceship. That's it. They're using EMUs or EVMUs. That thing, this spacesuit over there, that is a human-shaped spacesuit with the service module is the backpack. Okay. The helmet stays fixed. Your head can move around in the helmet. Just like if you were driving a car, you can move around. Now, what do you have in a car to look behind you? Rearview mirror, homie. It's a rearview mirror. Because they can't exactly do this because the helmet stays pointing in the same direction every time. Your head can move around independently. So, you want to look behind you? Hold the mirror up. Check your mirrors. Use your blinker. That's it, dude. It's just a rearview mirror. The side mirrors, quite literally. They don't have a rear view mirror. But didn't early EVA suits have helmet swivels? Yeah. What is this? What is this? That's so messed up. Oh my god. That's so bad, dude. Oh, that's horrible. Crash and burn, baby. Oh my goodness. It's funny because it's true. Whatever. Whatever, man. It's what you make of it, dude.
And we're watching Frank Rubio.
We're watching a man tighten a bolt down.
We're totally securing these beams to the FSE, the flight support equipment. This is the temporary pallet that rode up in the trunk of Dragon.
Space
with
drill.
The 2 IROSA arrays packed on top.
Is on here. The jaws are closed. The paddles are out.
See? Space drill is tethered too. I'm telling you guys, the tool
this.
belt.
And
These guys' tool belts that they have on, you wouldn't be able to move. It's literally like a toolbox that's attached on their belt. But in the drill too, that drill is heavy. It's heavy down here. It ain't heavy up there. It has no weight. It's just mass. Easier to move, but still pain in the butt. But yeah, it's a freaking impact wrench. That's all it is. Actually, it's more like an electric drill. But yeah. It's funny, dude. Sometimes I've been watching EVAs in the past and they didn't get the torque setting right and it strips the bolt. And I'm like, oh, well, that's relatable. They're like, oh, yeah, guys, the bolt just stripped. I'm like, oh, anybody got easy out? You want to heat it up? I don't want to heat it up. I'm not doing that in space. That's a bad idea. Weld a new bolt to it? Yeah, nope, that doesn't work. Yeah, strip the bolt. Uh-oh. It's happened, dude. It's funny to me because it's like, oh, that happens in space too. You think of it as like this perfect thing. Nope, no, they strip bolts too. That happens.
Drive it to torque on Bravo 1.
Yeah, so the reason why the drill looks like a
Bravo 1.
The reason why the drill looks like a Fisher-Price toy is because it's designed to be ergonomic around the gloves, guys. Remember, they're in a spacesuit. Try to use a power drill with gloves on, with like full winter gloves on. It doesn't work. You can't. It's really hard to set the settings. It's really hard to do that. So they have these things on the back right there. Those two knobs on the back are direction and torque. That's it. You can see that it's labeled, right? So, and then the battery is down here, just like a regular power drill. But it's designed to be ergonomic around the gloves. So that's why the thing looks like a Fisher-Price toy. Yeah, New Century, right? Yeah, yep. See how thick that damn glove is? Dude, the glove is like this thick, man. It's really thick because it's inflated, right? Yeah, what is he doing?
Actually, the bolt is super solid. The actual beam itself has some movement underneath it.
You got to tighten the other bolt, Frankie.
Copy, Frank. Stand by.
Was this torqued in sequence? Nice, Admana. Oh, very nice, Jax. Crab season at PDX, very good. So you're saying Tiny Victory can work that drill? Well, Tiny Victory might be able to do it, Victory, but the thing is that drill weighs like 80 pounds down here. Because it's got no weight up there. Because it's got no weight up there, it's not too bad to move around. I don't think Tiny Victory would be able to lift that thing. And, like, the drill is rad hardened and stuff, guys, so it doesn't fry the dang thing. That's why making stuff in space is so dang expensive. Like, I'm sure you guys have all heard the story about, you know, how NASA designed how NASA contracted out a Fisher to make, like, a pen that writes in space, right? And everybody says, oh, the Russians just use pencils. You know, here's the thing. This pen... How long did you say the fuse was? These pens here, you know, everybody's like, oh, the Russians just use a pencil. Well, here's the thing. Pencils make graphite shavings. Graphite shavings is something you don't want floating around in your spacecraft. That's why NASA paid the money to make a pen that doesn't do that. Graphite makes things explode real good. So you don't want that floating around in your spacecraft. That's why they spent so much money to make a pen that writes in space. And I have my Fisher space pen right here. It's the pen from GoldenEye. How long did you say the... Oh, grow up, 007. They all say the pen was mightier than the sword. Thanks to me, they were right. Now, let's ask Fred here to demonstrate. Here we are. Sorry about this, Fred. 1, 2, 3.
Going to be attaching that to what's known as the seat of cart, the crew and equivalent translation aid.
No, they're heavy, dude. The suit is 300 pounds. I said it was 600 the other day. That was wrong. I double-checked it. It's 300 pounds. But, yeah, oh, there's the foot restraint. See? The bindings. The snowboard bindings. He's going to bolt that to the arm. Or they took it off the arm. I'm not exactly sure. See this little attachment point right there on the end of the RMS? You can attach to it, and they can pull you around on the arm, which is actually really cool.
Not needed just yet. I need to put the APFR in. Oh, okay.
I am invincible!
Oh, you're on the shooting cart, yeah.
Oh, this is legit, man. I'm really... We should watch more EVAs, dude. I'm gonna start covering the EVAs. This is awesome. Look at the view! And, you know, like, the funny thing is that we're working on our station right now. This is great reference for me, dudes. I'm trying to build something similar to this in Kerbal, right? And it's great freaking reference. Yep, there's your toolbox. See? Toolbox.
Thank you. Yeah. Had a lot of gymnastics to get rid of that. I'm gonna go above you here. Give me just 1 second. Stand by. You want to make sure you don't get caught in the APFR. Thank you.
It has a Recibo in it. It's worth the price of admission.
Forward. I just need to get under the... we've got a cross on our...
It's more like Space Station Freedom-wise. Yeah, it's kind of combination of ISS, Space Station Freedom, and then a little bit of my own design to make it work well in Kerbal.
They were already 2 twisting it, just so you're... Oh, really? Yeah, when...
No, it's bolted to their tool belt, Hokey, or bolted to the ISS.
I hook on my red wheel, it probably spun.
Yeah, fellas, these guys use carabiners. You can see it's
I can quickly put this in.
Carabiners.
It looks like if I go
just like when you're rock climbing. Same thing.
We're going to not have a problem anymore. Okay. You're good. I'll just wait on you.
Is Rocksmith a good way to start learning guitar? Sure. Canadian, when I started learning guitar, dude, I started off with tabs, but tabs are only going to get you so far. Tabs basically just tell you what string to play. But I find that a good way to learn the guitar is learn how the guitar works, okay? It's me. Would you expect anything different? Because, you know, you got to understand how a car works before you go and drive it, right? That's how I kind of look at things, right? So with the guitar, I figured out that, okay, so you have magnetic coils that are charged that are picking up vibrations in their electromagnetic field. That's what a pickup does. And it picks up the vibrations from the string, and that sends a signal through the coil into the amplifier, right? It's pretty straightforward stuff. Now, on top of that, you know, you got to figure out how the fretboard works. So there's patterns to this. There's patterns to how the fretboard works. You can play the same note in like 6 or 7 different spots on the guitar. Now, that's a good key right there. So, key, music humor. That's a good indicator of how the guitar works. You know what I mean? So here's what you do. Start by learning how to play 4 chords in the key of E. Okay? The guitar is, if you're in standard tuning, it's tuned to the key of E. So E, A, D, G, B, E. Those are the strings, right? E, A, D, G, B, E. Down, 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 down. Simple enough, right? Learn how to play 4 chords. Learn how to play an E chord. That's easy. Learn how to play a G chord, an A chord, and a D chord. You learn how to play those 4 chords right there, you can play like 90% of rock and roll songs, because most rock and roll songs are in standard tuning in the key of E, and they use those 4 chords. Go figure. Learn the pentatonics and other harmonic scales. That's where I'm going with this, Rocket. Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going with that. From there, you can extrapolate the scales. All right? So you figure out how to play different things, because you can play A up at the top of you could play an A chord at the top of the guitar, or you can play an A bar chord, which is a little bit down on the fretboard and up a couple of strings, right? And it plays the same thing. So, like I said, understand the scales and how the guitar works, and where different songs the guitar can make the same sound in different spots, and you can literally figure out how to play any song just by hearing it. That's how I learned. That takes time. But I stopped using tabs a long time ago, dudes. Tabs don't teach you anything. They just teach you how to regurgitate somebody else's music. If you learn the scales and you learn the pentatonic scales, major and minor pentatonic scales on the guitar, you can literally learn how to play anything just by hearing it. Music theory is cool, dude. There is engineering behind that. Like hard engineering to what makes a good song. It's really, really interesting stuff. But it's just something I don't really talk about too much on stream. Sharp is just a note raised a half step. Yep, that's part of the scales, right? So if we're playing bar chords, guys, 3rd fret, bar chord, you know, E and A string, that's G, right? You have G, and then you go up to, and then you have A, and you go up to again, and you have D. But if you're playing just straight chords, if you're playing straight chords up at the top, you can play G, A, and D right there on the 3rd fret if you know what you're doing. You can literally make the same sound. So, like, you can either go down the fretboard or you can go across the fretboard to play different notes. It's super cool, dude. Guitars are awesome. So, yeah, Canadians, start with learning scales and stuff, dude. Learning scales and learning your way around the fretboard, dude. And those 4 chords, it's easy peasy, dude. It's not too hard. The finger coordination might seem like a pain in the butt at first, like trying to move your fingers around, but you get it over time. You just got to keep doing it. It's like the dexterity is something you pick up over time. It just takes time to get it right. Like when I first started playing, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to move my fingers around the fretboard like that. And then just one day I was playing a song and I just did it. Yeah, Rocket, there you go. Is the New Year's GTA happening again? I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly, Nighthound. Yeah, like typing on a keyboard. You'll learn your way around it, dude. That's actually a good way to say that. Mm-hmm.
You're good.
Has anyone ever slipped and had to use a carabiner to get back? I'm sure it's happened, New Century. I can't recall a specific event off the top of my head. But they have 2 carabiners just in case that does happen. And if you notice, if you know, there's a handover through TDRS. We'll get the view back in a moment. You can see at the mission control screens that there's a handover through the tracking data satellites. Here we go. So, okay, see this thing right here that looks like a U? That's going around the backpack with the American flag on it. This thing right here. You see that? It looks like a fanny pack almost. That thing is called a safer unit. A safer is a jetpack. It's a jetpack. It has compressed air and you can use it to maneuver around. If the double carabiner system, for whatever reason, if that doesn't work and they free float, the safer unit can be used. It has like maybe 6 or 7 meters a second delta V. It's not a lot. It's just enough to, you know, if you're spinning, to right yourself, right? And then just boost back towards the station. Yeah, they have jetpacks just in case, dude. The jetpacks don't have nearly as much delta V as the jetpacks do in KSP. They don't have a lot. It's just compressed air. Safer is a newer version of an MMU Nova Raptor. Yeah, it's an MMU. It does the same thing as the MMU, but the MMU has way more delta V because it was designed for long duration EVA operations in free floating flight. The safer unit is a life preserver. There's a difference, you know what I mean? It's like having a lifeboat versus having a life vest. Understand? But yeah, same concept. So no deorbiting by pushing the ship to get home. DSM, that was once. That was once, okay? And I screwed up, but no. You making fun of me? Why was the MMU discontinued? That was another thing that got axed after Challenger. It got axed after Challenger because, you know, they saw it as too risky. DSM. Dude, I had a mission where I accidentally ejected the service module when we were about to re-enter, coming back from the moon one time in an old Kerbal save. And I was using the Kerbal's jetpack to get the capsule so it wouldn't burn up in the atmosphere, like going too low, because I accidentally ejected the service module. And one of the Kerbals ran out of jetpack fuel, and I had to play Kerbal pinball to get them back into the capsule. And I had to do it before they re-entered. That was, and I did it. We got him home. That was one of the most hardcore freaking missions. Dude, that was so aggravating. Oh my gosh, I was gonna have a nervous breakdown on stream. The ME3 mission in the mission mode, second mission mode save. Unfortunately, that VOD got axed, Artsy, in the DMCA stuff. We have it backed up somewhere. Yep, he's tightening down that, that was a bracket that the solar panel was attached to. Ludard, yep, that was Ludard, Electron, yep. Yeah, it's happened. They've lost stuff. I Rosa, but do you Rosa? I Rosa all the time. Ian, he, she, they, Rosa.
Okay, copy, Frank. That is a good bolt. So you're good to stay.
Okay, all right. I know the next question that's gonna get asked. All the dead pixels are dead pixels. They're not stars. Why are there dead pixels? Radiation fries cameras in space. Yeah. Now that they're in the dark, it's a lot easier to see. And it's funny because the dead pixels are really screwing up the encoder. That's funny. Yeah. These are all dead pixels that got fried from solar radiation. It happens. Look at the... Oh... Look at the sunset. Holy crap, that's cool.
And Josh, we're negative on your deck.
This is my vote.
Dude. I'd be so distracted from that damn view.
So just just to let you know, current config, we've got good Hecka on Frank, but I don't have any video off your Hecka.
Hecka? That must be one heck of a thing. Mr.
Okay,
Naga, not going to work here anymore. Gone. There's the tether. EJ last.
And copy that.
Speaking of old saves, when was the last time you loaded the mission mode where you felt bad for deorbiting stuff and decided to save it and do a new mission mode? I have not loaded up that save since that day, Sleepy. Since I decided to do MM2 rules.
Okay.
There you
go, Josh, we've got a good view of what's in front of you, and we're ready.
You can see this in the heck.
What the heck is that? Yeah, I don't know.
I think the best option, I'm not sure how we got here. I want to make sure we're not get things worse, but
I wonder what Frank's favorite color is.
I disconnect his green hooks, and I take my whole pack, arbors of his green reel.
KSP mods. Trojan. Exclamation mark KSP mods.
And that's the other cross.
And Josh,
prepare to fast forward. Preparing to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Fast forwarding.
You'll just carry the cross all the way back to the airlock, and that'll be fine.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to move your green hook a couple times here. Okay, sounds good.
This is so sick, dude. I love watching this. I forgot how much I like watching EVAs.
And right now, Josh Cassidy just doing a little bit of rearranging on those tethers. They'll have multiple engaged at any given time just to keep them secure to both the station and all the various equipment that they're working on. They have a couple of different safety tethers, equipment tethers, all available to them throughout these spacewalks. But we're largely in the cleanup and ending phase of the spacewalk so far today. Casso's primary cleanup job was to get the foot restraint off the robotic arm and get it stowed on the CETA cart, the crew equipment in translation.
They are hellfish.
Assist cart, and he was able to do that successfully.
I don't think I need to say why you'd want to capture
Frank Rubio's just wrapping up, driving a couple of bolts to secure the FSE beams that had previously been holding the iRosa in place on the equipment pallet that it arrived on.
Back over to the crew lock bag Tango, and so you're going to end up picking that up. Your choice as to whether you want
everything
to
up there has like a pilot dowel and captive bolts.
Or secure
There's pilot dowels all over the place to get stuff to line up. So you guys know how I use the RCS bearing and the thermometers in Kerbal to line stuff up? There is the space flight, the real equivalent of that. It'll look like a pin with a tapered front. So it'll look like kind of almost like a metal pencil, right? There's pilot dowels all over the place to get stuff to align because it's so hard to do up in space. That's why I have the RCS balls on craft and stuff to line stuff up to get it to work right. Because, yeah, that dude, I took the idea from the best.
Job for cleanup is grabbing some of these adjustable equipment tethers, as they're working with.
For sure, Hellfish, yeah.
I see it translating back in.
Look at this shot, man.
As they're working with any equipment on board, they try to keep it tethered to them. Make sure we don't have tools or any other items floating away during the spacewalk. And so he's just stowing some of those tethers on the crew lock bag, and then Frank will be done with his cleanup steps. We'll start to see the crew make their way back to the airlock to begin the ingress and finishing steps of the spacewalk itself. Again, right now we're 6 hours, 36 minutes in duration. Things kicked off at 7:19 a.m. Central, 8:19 a.m. Eastern. When they took their suits over to battery power, the clock's going to continue to count until they get inside the airlock, get the hatch closed, and the repressurization of the Quest airlock begins. Once we start to see the pressure tick up, that will be the operational completion of today's spacewalk.
Hey, my guys. Now, Hillness, like I said, I don't take, like, a lot of the ideas that I have in Kerbal, I just borrowed from the best, dudes. I'm not even ashamed to say it. The environment in space in Kerbal is not that far off from, like, the physical environment in real life. Kerbal is an approximation, but it's close enough to drive the point home.
Transferring adjustables.
I could go for some infected. Get me some beef and broccoli and white rice, dude. If we're getting takeout, getting Chinese takeout, I'm in, dude. Beef broccoli, some pork fried rice. Get me some dumplings and some lo mein. I'm in. I'm in, dude. General So's? Yeah, good call. Good call. And the chicken fingers. You guys know the Chinese chicken fingers? They're so damn good. I could eat like a freaking box of those things. Pork fried rice, chicken fingers, beef and broccoli, dumplings. I'm in. Dude, I could eat that every day. It's friggin' delicious. Can't go without the lo mein, indeed. I do want to see more of what solutions you come up with more than clones, though. I understand that, Hellfish, so I'm giving myself a good place to start off. Once we get into actually building stuff like Space Station Freedom, I'm going to have to come up with my own ideas. I can't copy NASA having 2 tandem modules next to each other, because they never did that. So we're going to have to come up with some stuff. And then once we build out, if we build out the rest of the... If we build out the rest of the original space transportation system idea, right? Well, all this stuff literally never went past the drawing board. So this is going to have to be, I'm going to have to fill in the blanks with my own designs. And that's exactly what we'll do. Yeah, note some of the things here. So the space shuttle, guys, if you really want to know, just on a side note, space shuttle building a space station was only 2 parts of a 4-part program to use space shuttle architecture to get back to the moon. This is what NASA proposed in the early 70s to replace Saturn, right? So you have a shuttle that launches once a week, and then you make chemical space tugs, and then nuclear tugs, right? And you use that to constantly send landers, refuelers, and ascent modules, and station modules out to the moon. Basically build something like Gateway. That was kind of the idea. They would have started with chemical space tugs, Centaur G, and then they would have moved to a Nerva-powered 2nd stage. Or 3rd stage for the shuttle. So, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. And then, Hellfish, it's going to get real hardcore when we figure out how to go past the moon with it. That's what I'm thinking.
Hey Josh, I see you
using the aft cargo carrier to build stuff.
So you're going to stow the crew lock bag inside. Check that. It's a cable bag.
Hellfish, unfortunately, that takes time. If I spend too much time doing that, you guys bust my balls for taking too much time on the SPH. So I have to find a medium. Was that explored further in For All Mankind? Yeah, not really. For All Mankind has an air-launched SSTO.
And Frank, as you come off the FSD, we're going to want you to do the seated cart brake checks.
Yeah. Okay. So Josh is all the way back over at the airlock.
On the right, we see Josh Cassidy's back at the Quest airlock.
I just said that, Dan.
Cover. I'm going to start moving some of the equipment inside.
There's the CBM to get into Node 1. You're a VAB stream. Got him. Yep, putting all the tools back in the truck, quite literally. If this looks like it's a pain in the butt. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. No, this sucks.
So Cassidy is going to make his way inside of the airlock first. And he will start, or he will be prime, rather, for starting to get some of the additional connections that are going to go into the suits unstowed as we get ready to basically integrate the EMUs back into the station systems, get back on those service and cooling umbilicals. The only way
you can fit 2 suits in the
but
airlock
all that's still
is
to come. Frank Rubio is going to be going in second. He's going to be prime as lead spacewalker for getting that thermal cover, and then the hatch
itself. They have to kind of go like this. It's the only way they can fit 2 of the suits in there. Watch how crowded this gets. It gets pretty crowded pretty fast. See? Look at all the stuff that they have tethered.
On the port seated cart.
Copy. Good release on the port seated cart.
You have all your tools on your tool belt, and all your tools are tethered to the tool belt. You see all the ropes that he has on there?
Okay, airlock.
There's the drill. The drill bolts into the tool belt. Yeah, legit. There's a reason why you practice doing EVAs all the time. These Josh and Frank probably have probably good 200-300 hours practicing this EVA, and that's before they even launched into space. That's what astronauts do. They train them on how to fix the ISS before they go up. And yeah, even then, it's so difficult to get this right, dude. So Frank is making his way back over. I'm not exactly sure where he is. It's kind of hard to tell. They don't have the external cameras because it's freaking dark. But like the cameras that are mounted on the ISS, not the first-person cameras. Wish your body was capable of it?
Okay, the IDA bag is inside. I assume...
what do you mean, legit? What do you mean, wish your body was capable of it? Anyone could do this, dude. You just really got to be in good health. That's all.
And Josh, the only thing left for you is to hook up your waist tether and ingress. Frank, you're working on your green hook. I see just a nadir of the seat card, starboard seat card.
The asthma might be a problem, dude. But this isn't... Yeah, asthma could be an issue. Yeah, I wouldn't go up there with a suit with asthma. That's not that's not a good idea. Yeah, eyes too. I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. I'm mildly colorblind, so I can't really be an astronaut, which really blows. But hey, that is what it is.
Okay, my left waist tether is on the D-ring extender.
What if they have to use the restroom? Narc, you make sure you use the head before you go on the EVA, dude.
Copy, that's a good config.
Don't drink a lot of water and then go EVA, dude, because, yeah, you know, you mess the suit, you're probably going to have to clean it. That's what space tourism is for? Yeah. Yep. I lose focal vision with occasionally in my right eye, and there's a chance my retina may detach at high G loads. Oof. Frickin' genetics, man, am I right? Mildly colorblind. Serious. You bonehead. Hey, that man's playing Galaga. Oh, dude, did I see a cup of dunks on that guy's desk?
Okay.
That guy had dunks, dude.
If you can...
Hell yeah.
On the starboard seat of
Hell yeah, dunks.
Come on in.
Fucking love dunks, guy. I'm guessing they wear a diaper just in case. Yeah.
And Josh, once you're inside the airlock, you're good to turn off your headset.
I can't hear you. Yeah, cleanup gets a little messy. I'm trying to figure out. So Frank's...
Copy, good brake release on the starboard cart.
Frank is still somewhere out on the truss segment, guys. That's the truss. I'm not sure exactly where he is. I gotta read this. He went by the sign. He's making his way. So see, this is the inside of the truss. A lot of people don't know it's basically just hollow and still there's stuff in it. So he's heading towards the S0 truss segment. I'm trying to look at the ladder rungs. Everything is labeled so you can orient yourself, so it's really easy to see. So he's, if I had to guess, he's on the P1 truss segment right now, moving towards S0. S0, guys, is the truss segment that's over the top of the space station. That's the one that's over the module. So you'll see him, he's making his way down here, and then he's going to go up and over the Destiny module and then back. The airlock on the ISS is in a position right here. So he's like somewhere here on the P1 moving towards S0. I think. If I saw that label right. Let's see if we can get a good picture. So the airlock, it said airlock is that way.
Yeah, over 6 hours, 46 minutes, and
Karen,
we are
still here?
moving towards the conclusion of today's spacewalk. Right now, Josh Castro already back inside of the crew lock section of the Quest airlock. Frank Rubio making his way there now. They finished all of their cleanup steps.
Black Novoraptor, yeah. Adding sugar and milk just complicates things.
Back inside to...
Those are dead pixels, Stufamen. Radiation fries cameras up there. So that's the orbiter boom sensor system.
So they're moving back inside of the airlock. Reminder, our spacewalk will officially conclude
Okay,
the
so
repress
he's going
of
down
the
off the
airlock
truss
begins.
segment.
So first we have to get them inside.
There's the Destiny module.
Hooked up back to these umbilicals, go through a couple of additional steps in the repress cue card, get the hatch closed, and then we'll be ready to go.
Oh. Don't headbutt the panel, man. Yeah, once again, all the handles here are anodized aluminum because if they tried to paint them in a color that's easy to see. There's the Quest airlock. That's the Destiny module. Those are the struts that hold the truss segment together. So that's the back of the Destiny module and the front of Unity, Node 1. And then this is the Quest airlock
Frank,
over
as you
there.
show up, Josh has already got his waist tether down on the inside, so he's got a good load path. The next step for you is going to be...
so they anodize the aluminum on these things because if they painted them, the sun would just fry the paint right off. So they anodize it in a color that's easy to see. So you know what to grab. Bingo. Now, you can see that right there. That's a toolbox. You can tell it's a toolbox because of the way it is. I didn't see them check any capsules, Maverick. Yeah. You're talking about MS-22. MS-22 is on the, like, if we could see through the Quest airlock right now, it's over here. There's the entrance to the airlock right there.
Josh, I'm back at the airlock. Okay. Welcome. Yeah, thanks. Nicely done out there. Good to be here. You too, man.
Hell yeah. This is cool, dude.
I don't know how you drew the short straw to work on those beams again. So good. Probably because you gave me the bag.
Yeah, Thunder. You can tell it's a toolbox because of the way it is.
I've had my share of that bag, so. What's that? I've had my share of that bag.
Ejectocito, cuz. I love this button. You're a good driver, man. Thanks, man. Who said anything about an airstrip? Good movie. But legit, I said forget about it, cuz. Okay. You rang? No, we're not talking. No, we weren't talking about you. Shh. Quiet.
Alright, Nick, I have Josh's anchor hook on my waist header, both his anchor hook and my waist header are day close hook lock black on black.
Okay, copy that. Good config. So you're good to pull up your anchor hook off of 554 and ingress.
554 is the name of one of the handles. Every single handle has a number on it.
Do you want to bring the tango
even
bag in
the side of the airlock right there. That denotes where they are on the airlock, what panel they're over.
With me.
See?
Okay.
Airlock 0304
Well,
panel
actually,
right there.
let me hand it to you because I have some stuff to do, so it'll make life easier. Thank you.
It's a work of art, Novus. We got to bring some of these modules
make sure
back down, dude. I don't care if it's on Lofted or on Starship or whatever. Some of this stuff needs to come back down for examination.
Wait, what? Do you want it over here?
Some of these modules have spent 20 years up there. 20 plus years up there.
Please, on the
Zarya, the first module for the station, was launched in 98. It's older than some viewers.
Since it's mine, I've got your... Are you able to release my 57?
It does seem excessive, dude, absolutely. But once again, you don't know how quickly an EVA can go south, dude. It can go south faster than me choking and Hunt the Streamer. Like, it's that fast. Everything needs to be labeled. You have to do it by the book, because if you kind of go by the seat of your pants, something bad will happen. You have to be careful.
Go. Ready to get out of your way?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, right, exactly.
Maneuvering. Go ahead and start working my FCU.
Why is their audio quality so bad on the walks? I know it's a bit of a dumb premise, but what's stopping them from getting some nice lapel mics or something?
Your go to start working, mating your SCU to your DCM.
So these radios are on short band, Arsenal. Long story short, the suit has a short band on it. It's a CB
Frank,
radio. The reason why is because it's simple.
Turn off your HECA, you can do it.
I wouldn't call it a CB radio. It's not Citizens band, but it's just a short band radio. You got to keep it simple up there, dude. A lapel mic, is adding computers and stuff. Do you really want the mics to go out? You're adding more things for your avenue of communication, and you could theoretically reduce the bandwidth of communication in the name of quality. The short band is good enough to get things done, and it's simple. They don't break. That'll be, you know, if the crap hits the fan, right, and civilization ends, short band will be the only form of communication. It's the easiest and it's the simplest. Spacewalk Discord, yeah, right. They installed a new solar panel, Riv.
Okay. Duke was right. SSU does not have the satisfying click. Push out.
They went with the suits have short band because short band is simple. It's not the best audio quality, but it's the simplest. There's a shot inside. That's looking into the Quest airlock from the Destiny module there. You could see there's another astronaut waiting on the other side of the airlock. I don't know who that is exactly. Who's up there? So Frank came up on Soyuz. Josh came up on a Dragon. What about the leak? This EVA didn't include going and inspecting Soyuz, Rivian. I'll be able to tell you who it is if they show that shot. Hey, I think that guy over there is playing Galaga.
That guy in the airlock and the...
Yeah, because guys, you got to remember, you know, you put a lapel mic and then you have a good video recorder, guys. That's just more things that can go wrong. Seriously, this is the best part is no part. To a T. You don't screw around with EVAs. EVAs are dangerous, man.
And 6 hours 53, coming up on 54 minutes into the spacewalk. That clock's going to continue counting until we get.
Something's pulling me. Target. I don't think it's pulling you. I think
Up.
I think it was twist maybe?
Something got snagged.
A roll right. I'm sorry, roll left.
Yeah. 7 hours is actually not too bad, Wiser. That's pretty short.
But again, that clock going to continue to count. So right now they've worked to get the thermal cover closed. So we're into the very end stages of our spacewalk today.
I couldn't get a good shot. I couldn't get a good look, Thomas. 6 is actually pretty short, dude. Those EVA, the EMUs can stay out there for
stepping into both crew members working to get their SCUs, their service and cooling umbilicals, from where they've been stowed throughout the spacewalk. They're going to remove covers on those, and they're going to connect the service and cooling umbilicals, the SCUs, to their display and control module on their spacesuit. That's going to essentially hardline them back in to station systems, and then they're going to start stepping through some of the settings, including turning the water off on their EMU systems.
The cover is closed. Adjustable is on the clip point and IP6 Sharpie lines.
I really hope they give us a shot inside of the airlock. I want to show you guys how crowded it is in there with 2 people and all the tools. It'll look like chaos in there.
It is.
Okay, with that, you're good to remove the SCU from its stowage pouch and install it on your DCM.
Yeah, spacewalks can last a long time, dudes. They can go back when they were like assembling the station. They were out there for a long time. I don't remember how long it was. I know 7 hours is like relatively short, dude. It's not. Time flies when you're working out there. I mean, can you, with some of the freaking views that they have, can you blame them? I'd be like, yeah, I'm tightening this bolt. Yeah, I'm tightening the bolt. You missed the solar panel getting rolled out, Rec, which is pretty cool. Maybe they need speed walking training. Speed walking training? They're in space. You don't walk. Dang it, Bill.
If you could find good Velcro, I would do it. Otherwise, that's going to get in the way. Yeah.
Can they plug into the station to stay out there longer? I'm not sure, Zombie. I know they can plug into the airlock. That's what Dan Hewitt, the NASA PAO that's commentating this, just said. Dan Hewitt's a great NASA commentator. He's one of the best. "1 minute in space is 1 hour on Earth." Actually, Spooty, you want to hear something weird? 1 minute in space up there is actually, what is it?
So again, right
Longer.
now the crew in the crew lock
Or
section
no, shorter.
of the
It's
airlock.
shorter
We've got
up
the
there.
thermal cover closed. Next up, they're going to be...
Yep.
Connected?
Very slightly. But it's 60 seconds up there is actually a little bit shorter than it is down
Okay,
here.
with that, you guys are both
Gravity.
connected back up to the vehicle. You are good to take your water switches to the off OFF position and expect an H2O is off message.
I don't think the Amish believe in spacesuits. Oh man, you tell it, if they put a bunch of them up there, they'd build a space station real quick, and it'd probably be really well
We're starting
made
a
too.
2-minute timer down here, and well, we got the 2 minutes, and I still got you. Just want to say, outstanding job today. You made it look easy and routine.
Yep. Something like that, Wiser. Yeah.
Thanks so much to you and the entire team. Great job again.
DSM, I forget. I know there's a difference. I forget if it's
people who
shorter or
helped plan
longer.
and execute this. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Josh, you got anything?
Same words. Can't thank you guys enough. Don't know about routine. It certainly didn't feel that way. Never does. That one felt like a lion fight. But I think the program was asking Santa for a new, and that team just made it happen.
I got to say, you've got a lot of
fist bumps.
people who are very glad that their holiday plans are still secure.
Yeah, I'm not a timologist either.
Hey, we're incredibly happy that that's the case.
Yeah, it's slow. Yeah, I think that sounds right, Hellfish. I think it's slower. I think I had it backwards.
Chuckles all around the room.
That's correct, Rocket. That's the reason why they sent him up there, because he has an identical twin, and they wanted to measure the differences.
And some words there at the end of a long but very successful day from our two spacewalkers, Frank Rubio and Josh Cassada, as well as our ground IV, the voice you've heard from Mission Control walking them through all the procedures today, NASA astronaut Nick Hague.
EVA.
At this point, we're just waiting. We've got a 2-minute timer after the water turns off before we start moving into the actual repressurization of that section of the Quest airlock. So coming up next, Frank Rubio, our lead spacewalker for the day, is going to get the go to close the hatch. So as of right now, the crew lock section still has an open hatchway into the vacuum of space, so he's going to close that up. And then we'll jump over to the repress cue card.
2 minutes is up, so you can verify the handle position per the hatch decal. Make sure that the outer hatch is clear of hardware, and close and lock the hatch.
Say, where did you find that? Yeah, that's Nick Hague, guys. I forgot I forgot that was Nick Hague. So Nick Hague's been up there a couple of times. He's an astronaut, the guy that's capsule communicator right there. Nick Hague actually flew on a Soyuz. Flew on a Soyuz on the, what was it? I think it was the MS-10 flight a couple of years ago. Actually, this was a couple of years, like 5 years ago. He was flying up with a Russian cosmonaut named Alexei Ovchinin. There were only 2 guys on the Soyuz, but that Soyuz actually exploded on the way up because when they tried to separate the boosters, one of the separators didn't fire, and the booster came back and hit the second stage of Soyuz, and it popped, and they did an in-flight abort. So Nick is like one of the only astronauts, if not him and Alexei Ovchinin, a Russian cosmonaut, are like the only 2 people on the planet that have been in an in-flight abort scenario on a spaceship, which is actually pretty cool. Do you think EVA suits for Mars are going to be more like a U-2SR-71 suit or moon suit? They'll be more like the A7L, Hellfish. How cold is it out where I am, Def? It's like 38 out here. Yeah, that's right, Ian. Nick Hague. He was on MS-10. Dude, we watched that live.
So, Josh, you're going to check on the UIA that the EMU 1 and 2 oxygen valves are open.
Oxygen, EMU 1 and EMU 2 open.
You're going to switch power for EV 1 and 2 to the on position ON. Check that you've got good LEDs, and a volts readout.
Yeah, apatoxin. Dude, I went white in the face during that launch because I was like, I think they might be gone. And dude, I don't know about you, fellas. Every time we watch people launch into space, it's in the back of my mind. You know, what do I do? What am I gonna say when something goes wrong? Like, hopefully that never happens. Hopefully I try not to think about it. Hopefully that event never happens.
Easy choose and just see you.
Oh, nice, Maverick. There you go. Yeah, Ian, dude, all I remember is hearing the Soyuz locator, and I heard the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da that the Soyuz locator makes, and I'm like, that's the locator for when the capsule is falling back to, Nikes. Yeah, I was like, please be okay, please be okay, please be okay, please be okay. But they were fine. Nick and Alexei got out of the capsule on their own, and then Nick, in a press conference, Alexei went to Nick and said, that was short flight. Call rescue crew. We go home now. Short flight. Like, okay.
O2 actuator to pass and work. EV1. In work for EV2.
Yeah, that was short flight. We launched another day, friend. What's that, Thomas? Lies. I don't know what it's called. I just know the sound it makes when it lies. Nice looking ship, though. It's crazy how ships are moving towards a more aerodynamic design. I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, interesting. Cool looking ship. There's no Ariane 6 on board. It is in fact empty.
And this is Mission Control Houston, just about one step away until we can call the end of today's spacewalk.
Okay, copy. Both EV1 and EV2 or
EV2 still working.
Yeah, Spoon. That's what I say, dude. Turbulence makes people like afraid because the plane's shaking around. Well, that just proves that the wings are still working to me. It's if you just get constant turbulence and you start falling. That's when you should be worried. Turbulence just shows that the atmosphere is in fact still there. How come they're not showing the astronauts? They have trouble getting reception from the helmets inside of the airlock, Ender. I think when they plug the suits into the ISS and take them off battery power, that we'll get a better picture.
And EV2.
Hey, Ephraim.
Can you tell me, make sure everyone is impressed?
The game is a whole lot of fun when you give yourself constraints to try and work under, as it turns out.
We currently see Frank's in off. We need him in.
I know, man. That's why I did mission mode back in the day. Do you think Russian cosmonauts are actually funny, or is it just simple English in the accent? No, Impy. People from that part of the world have very, very dry, very dark humor. Very, very dry, very dark humor from that area, from like Central Asia. It's very dry humor. Me and my dad were flying one time, and it was nasty on the approach back, and I was excited. I could feel it was side slipping. Meanwhile, dad was holding on for dear life. Turbulence puts me to sleep, Ian. The plane rocking around like that, that's the only time I can ever sleep when it's flying.
So with both of you in press position, we will start the pressurization with the IV hatch equalization valve, and if the rate is too fast, let me know. I will start slowly.
Okay, Creechy, can you stand by for 1 second?
Copy, standing by.
And Megan, for EV2, do you show press? I'm not showing anything on my display.
Yeah, Ando, that's what I'm referring to. It's very dry humor. It's funny, dude. I think it's funny. Yeah, that was a short flight.
We see EV2 in press.
Oh, that makes me laugh, man. I like that type of humor is funny because it's so blunt, dude. And if you don't get it, you don't get it, which is hilarious to me. People are like, "What do you mean? You crashed?" Nah, that was a short flight.
Go to press.
It's kind of funny, man. Oh boy.
Okay, with that, then we will start the repress with the IVA hatch equalization valve, and let us know if the rate is too fast, sure. And then expect the alert tone.
Copy. EV1 copy. Thank you.
And confirmation that the repressurization of the Quest airlock has begun.
I wish they would
stopping our timer for today. And we finished right in the dot, 2:27 p.m. Central Time, 3:27 p.m. Eastern, for a total elapsed time of 7 hours and 8 minutes in today's spacewalk. So again, 7 hours, 8 minutes. The repress starting at 2:27 p.m. Central, 3:27 p.m. Eastern. That's 20:27 GMT.
Yeah, I know.
Would you expect me to see anything on my display? I've got the brightness.
I don't know what to tell you, homie. Dry humor is lost on a lot of people over here, man. It's a shame because it's pretty damn funny.
We're checking.
I think it's funny. It makes me laugh. Have you considered building launch sites at the same coordinates as real-life launch sites? I know they're not identical.
EV1 and EV2, how's the repress rate?
Good for EV1. I like it. Thank you, Koichi. EV2.
No, definitely
Thank you.
So right now we're seeing the pressure inside the crew lock start to tick up, and this is a manual process using a valve on that hatchway between the crew lock and the equipment lock section. Where
Quick question, what would the shuttle's abort to orbit do that was different from the normal ascent? Well, Milo, think about it. So the abort to orbit contingent scenario, Milo, means that the shuttle has an engine that's failed and it would only have 2 engines to get into space. So now burning prograde doesn't really work anymore because you don't have the TWR. You'll fall back down to Earth before... You still have the Delta V. Your Delta V is impeded a little bit because you're dragging one engine. That dead engine is dead weight, right? So your TWR goes down, but your Delta V kind of goes up. It doesn't really change too much. But now you have to, with an abort to orbit contingency, now... excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm getting sick. With an ATO contingency, burning prograde isn't going to work. So you have to burn radial out to push AP high or burn... radial in to push perigee up. It really depends on where the abort happens.
Once we hit 4 PSI, which we just passed.
The Brits love dry humor. I like dry humor, indeed. I think dry humor is funny.
And again, expecting to...
But dry humor seems to be lost in this day and age, dude. Unless you kind of inform everybody that you're doing a dry humor. You people, these folks have no chill, you know what I mean? But then again, you got to make sure that you don't go too far in one direction and sound like a complete jerk. You have to layer in a little bit of sarcasm in there. That's how I do it, and usually it lands.
Turn off the IV hatch equalization valve and checking the pressure for stabilization.
Thank you, Coach. Copy.
What's the opposite of dry humor? Slapstick, I guess. Wet humor. Sweet, if you call it moist humor again, I'm going to ban you from my chat. I won't do that. See? There was dry humor itself. Can we call it dank humor? Yeah, dank humor is a good idea. We'll call it that. Sweaty humor. No, fellas, that was not an invitation to type moist in my chat, damn it. But, well, you took the liberties anyway. It's fine. It's okay. Why do I try? Pythos, I will slap you. Oh, good, a hat. Oh, good, a hat change. Didn't see that one coming. It wasn't even the Streisand effect floating. I didn't say for anybody to type moist in my chat. I didn't even say don't type moist to... Oh, wait, I did. Shut up. NASA has some nice movie posters on the back wall there. Yellow Jacket, you see that?
And this is Mission Control Houston again. We're continuing with the repressurization of the crew lock section of Quest.
Take it off email.
We're pausing at this 5 to allow the pressure to equalize. And after about a 2-minute timer, Koichi Wakata waiting inside the equipment lock will be able to open up that valve again to continue the repress all the way up to about 14.7. So that'll equalize it with the equipment lock section, get both Josh and Frank back into essentially a sea level atmosphere. We're going to do it gradually. Again, very similar to any pressure changes you go through here on Earth. You don't want to shock the system by going too quickly.
Yep.
So it's a very gradual repress for them today.
Oh, Grab,
after
look, it's an emote.
That hatch
that's lovely.
Pressure gets equalized on either side. Crew will be able to open up the hatches, bring them in, and then begin what's known as suit doffing, essentially just getting helmets off and then the remainder of the suit and bringing it into the day for both Josh Cassada
somebody got a text
and Frank Rubio. This
I think so.
Was a fully successful spacewalk today. They were able to remove and install a new rollout solar array, and we did get confirmation from the Spartan flight controller here in Mission Control that that solar array already integrated and providing power. Checked out great. So the primary...
We had good cool lock leak check.
I hope we get some first-person views.
The switch of glove heaters OFF.
I say first-person view like it's a video game. But then again, we are on Twitch, so it does make sense.
And off for EV1 and copy on the pressure check. Good words. Thanks, Rachel.
Okay, great. And check gloves for contamination. And if you see anything, please report to Houston.
Negative for EV1.
Negative for EV2.
Okay, next step, both EV1 and EV2 O2 actuator to IV.
Copy, coming to IV.
What type of contamination could happen? Well, Flatgate, you know, with the gloves you can grab things, and if you grab things you can pop a hole in the suit. And you can pop one of the coolant lines on the suit too. It's basically kind of what happened to the Soyuz, but you could do that with a spacesuit because those EMUs, so that spacesuit right there, see the spacesuit that's on the poster that Yellow Jacket pointed out? See that spacesuit? That's just basically a spacecraft. It is a spacesuit shaped spacecraft. And the spacesuit part is the crew module. The backpack is the service module. So you have coolant loops going through all over the place to make sure you don't fry in the freaking sun. So if you grab something, you could pop a coolant line, and that coolant line could get into the pressurized area on the suit. And if it gets in the pressurized area on the suit, well, that's liquid going into an air filter. You ever use a wet dry shop vac and try to vacuum up liquid with the filter still in? I don't think I need to explain why that would be bad with a spacesuit.
Everything was still looking good, and then Koichi Wakata will be able to open up that valve and complete the final stage of our repress today. We'll have stats and everything before we sign off for you for today's spacewalk, which again lasted 7 hours
made that mistake,
and 8
guilty,
minutes in
you
total.
know exactly
fully
what I'm talking
accomplished.
about. You don't want to be breathing that.
Both Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio working to install that new solar array.
I can see it. It is in IV. We just don't have the
concurs. We see you in IV.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, we have an IV view, Thomas, I think.
Okay, with that, restart the repressurization.
Copy, Coach. Copy for you,
EV1 and 2, expect alert tone.
EV1 copy.
EV2 copy.
And so that hatch equalization valve open once more, seeing the pressure climb.
Okay,
They're going to continue until the difference in pressure between the crew lock and the equipment lock is essentially zero, so they'll be equal in pressure. After which case we'll be out of the repress cue card, and Luigi and Nicole will be able to open up the hatch, bring Josh and Frank back inside, get them out of their suits, and wrap up a very successful day.
I think that's, yeah, guys, Sleepy, I think that's the airlock repressurizing. I think that's the noise that we're hearing. I don't remember the last time I watched an EVA with you guys. I don't know what that noise is, but if I had to guess, either something's going very wrong or it's the airlock repressurizing. And if something was going very wrong, you know the signs, you know what to look for. If someone does this, something is wrong in mission control. If someone does that, or if someone takes off their glasses and goes, ugh. The not like this is what you got to look for. And I'm not seeing a lot of not like this. That guy right there is looking at something, but he's doing this. This is different. This is different here. That's not this or that or this. They're different. They're very subtle differences, but that's what you got to look for.
And we're a little over 10 PSI. Again, we're looking to get to right around 14.7. Looks like we're a shade under. But that's roughly the sea level pressure that the entirety of the station's kept at. Just over 11, we'll see that pressure start
seriously.
to equalize out.
Yellow Jacket, when we were watching the Vegas Sea launch the other day, so the Europeans went to launch a rocket, and the second stage popped. It failed. It popped. There was like a $1.2 billion satellite on board, so that's good. Actually, two $600 million satellites, if we're going to be technical. It popped, and all the people in mission control went, oh, God. Oh, they went like this. Like, you could see the mission director went, he was making a face that was like this. What did it just do? It was not good. It was not good, man. It was not ideal. Everyone in mission control went, oh frick. Dude, that sucks so hard, man. I don't wish failure on anyone. So, dude, this stuff is so difficult. A failure is like getting a good gut punch, man. It's just like, yeah, exactly. Yellow Jacket. Yeah. Did Rogozin get canned? Dmitry Rogozin? He was reassigned from Roscosmos in like April or something. From what I understand, he didn't get killed. He just took some artillery shrapnel. Oh yeah, he got reassigned from the head of Russia's space program to the war effort. So. Shrapnel. Do be like that. Enjoy it, pal. The new guy that replaced him is actually pretty good. Yuri Borzimov is that guy's name. He's the guy that runs Roscosmos now, and he's like, dude, we don't... That ain't us, man. That ain't us. We're not crazy, we swear. Yeah, and dude, because I said it. I said it when it was happening. This moron is tanking Russia's space program. He literally wiped his butt with an $8 billion OneWeb contract to try and spite the West. And I said at the time, I'm like, what are you doing? Are you stupid? And apparently his boss thought the same thing and said, no, you can go over there and do that. And now they're picking metal chunks out of his hide, so that's hilarious.
Once that hatch is
Guy's
open,
a moron, dude.
the
I had
full
faith
man
in
will
the
be able
dude
to
up
bring-
until that point. I'm like, okay, you you need to get the frick out of here.
Yeah. I got it. I'm on it.
Yeah, Borsimov is the guy that replaced him, Arsenal, and
Yeah.
one of the first things that Yuri Borsimov said when he was made head of Roscosmos, and he said, look, guys, I ain't making this political. Where Roscosmos is committed to human spaceflight and peaceful exploration. We don't bring politics into it. Just like NASA, you wouldn't bring politics into NASA, at least publicly. You know what I mean? He basically took the stance that NASA has regarding, fighting and stuff, and ever since then, it's been pretty smooth sailing. We started seeing crew exchanges again. Anna Kikna, who's a Russian cosmonaut, she flew up on a Dragon. Basically, the guy's like, yeah, the guy before me is a moron. We are not doing that. Yeah. So, at least for the time being, everything's kind of okay.
Walking time today, fully successful, able to remove that rollout solar array from its temp stow location, get it
Oh
out,
yeah, Cammy, that stopped
to
real
its
quick
new
when
home,
Yuri got in. Yuri's doing a
powering
good
the
job.
4A power
I
channel.
do kind of follow it in the
Successfully
background. I don't follow it on
installed,
screen, but
unfurled,
he's doing
integrated
a
in,
good
and
job.
already generating electricity. So that's 4 out of 6 IROSA arrays now
Sweet.
installed on the International Space Station. So very successful day, the third spacewalk for this duo,
I agree,
just
I'm
in the
with you
last
on that
couple of
one.
months and in their
The
careers
guy that
together.
runs it thinks exactly
So
the
a couple
same.
of quick
Stay
stats for
peaceful
you
in
before
space.
we
No
go
bull
away.
crap
This
up
was
there.
the 257th spacewalk in support of station assembly, maintenance, and
That's right,
upgrades. This was the 12th spacewalk on the station in 2022, and the 4th that was accomplished during Expedition 68, third U.S. one, and the first Russian. And this was the third spacewalk of both Cassida and Rubio's career, both of them now with a cumulative spacewalking time of 21 hours and 24 minutes. So all told, these 257 spacewalks now
Yuri
give
had a
us
lot
a
to do with
lifetime of over 1,600 hours, 1,630 hours, 26 minutes of spacewalking. That translates to 67 days, 22 hours, and 26 minutes.
What
But
specifically,
with the
Jim?
crew back safely inside, being helped out now by their Expedition 68 crewmates, a very successful spacewalk today, we are going to go ahead and wrap up our live coverage of EVA number
We didn't see
83,
any
U.S.
interior
EVA.
views. That sucks. So, Caveman, what are you saying? That finally explains Russia's reversal on refusing to put a cosmonaut on Dragon without seeing the schematics that SpaceX refused to hand over. Russia's trying to play nice to stay in the game. Yeah, Caveman, that's what happens when the idiot before you tanks all the freaking money that Roscosmos is making. Seriously, OneWeb had an $8 billion block buy with Soyuz on Soyuz 21A to launch all their satellites. A $8 billion block buy for like 20 Soyuz launches. And they still wanted to do it. And because Russia got sanctioned in March of 2022, he said, fine, you're going to sanction me? I'm not launching your satellites. And OneWeb said, we paid you. We're going to pay you. We'll pay you to do it. He's like, no, you're going to be mean to me. We're not launching your satellites. Great. Yeah, how's that spite attitude working? Oh, it didn't. You tanked an $8 billion space contract for your program. All they have left is the ISS. Sucks. It sucks. It didn't have to be that way, but oh well. And it's funny because shortly after that happened, he got reassigned to the war effort. Yeah. I would call that saving face. Yeah. And they put Borsimov in his place. And Borsimov said, no, we're not doing that crap. Nope. And it literally came back to bite him in the butt. Yeah, seriously, guys. The guy that we're talking about that stepped down, and was reassigned to the war effort, he got hit by an artillery shell the other day. Okay. And now SpaceX is launching OneWeb satellites, yeah, to bridge the gap, Mink, until they find a more permanent solution. Yeah, Shatter. I wonder how that's working for him. I don't know what to tell you, homie. Like, I don't know, dude. I said that was a stupid idea at the time. Like, what are you doing? So everybody hates you, and you're mad that everybody hates you because you're doing what you're doing, and you cancel all the space contracts that your space program has out of spite. Okay, let me explain to you why that's a dumb idea. All right, Roscosmos is a state-owned corporation. All right, so it's not something that we technically have in the United States. We have, I mean, there's government contractors, but they're technically a private company, right? Okay, a state-owned corporation in that part of the world is a company that is run privately, but the biggest shareholder and the biggest investor in said company, so it's like a publicly traded company, right? The biggest shareholder being the Russian federal government, right? So it's a little bit of a different thing than what NASA does, right? NASA contracts people to do stuff, and the idea is that there's not really profit. The scientific understanding is the profit, all right? That's the institutional knowledge is the profit, right? You know, like trying to send people to the moon is a hard thing to solve, and solving those problems and being able to get a person to live sustainably on the moon can help us to live more sustainably down here on Earth. Simple as that. It's a really easy equation, right? Now, NASA doesn't, so in that regard, NASA doesn't necessarily make money. Roscosmos is a state-owned corporation. They have to make money. They have to make money for their investor, like a regular company would. That's an important thing to understand. So wiping your butt with an $8 billion contract out of spite is not really good for your company. There's a reason why he stepped down after that. Yeah, there's a very good reason. He literally deprived their space program of like billions of dollars, quite literally billions of dollars. Yeah. Oh, somebody shot you in the butt. What happened? What do you mean what happened? It's funny how he's replaced him twice. Dude, like, I had faith in that guy until he went full schizoid. Like, he did a good job weeding corruption out of Roscosmos, because Roscosmos was pretty bad. I actually got him in a pretty damn good position. I must say, he was doing a good job up until February of 2022. Pride cometh before the fall, I suppose. He was stepped down. Right. That's a good way to put that. Yeah. Roscosmos is a state-owned company. I thought it was a government agency. State-owned corporation, Novoraptor, with the government. The Russian government is the biggest shareholder. Yep. A little bit different than NASA. NASA's, believe it or not, more of a social program than Roscosmos is. Interesting, isn't it? What did he do, Sparks? Dmitry Rogozin stepped down because when Russia started doing their special military operation, or whatever you want to call it, I call it war, but when Russia started doing that, he started making some very nationalistic decisions and ended up losing Roscosmos, a state-owned corporation, the Russian space program. He ended up losing them billions of dollars because he didn't want to launch European satellites on his Russian rocket. And then a little bit after that, he got reassigned to the war effort. And the reason why all this is coming up is because he was out in a cafe in Donetsk in the Ukraine, and yeah, an artillery shell came through the front window while he was having his birthday party. Oops. Yeah, Alex, the U.S. did the same bull crap in Vietnam. Vietnam isn't a war, it's a conflict. It's like, dude. Okay. Just Ukraine. The is redundant as saying the Texas. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so he is in a hospital and they're picking shrapnel out of his back end right now. Yeah, so that's why it came up. That's why we were talking about it, Sparks, because yeah, he's a moron. The guy they replaced him with though is actually pretty cool. Is once again, I can't say enough good things. His name is Yuri Borzimov. Borzimov is a good dude. He's all space. No bullcrap. Keep the petty stuff on the ground. Up in space, it's about space, which I appreciate. Really like that. It's nice. That's refreshing to see somebody that actually has a clear head. You know what I mean? Reports show that the shrapnel came from a French-built Caesar mortar, so you're welcome. So, Alex, when the mortar explodes, does it release white hot? Emphasis on white shrapnel? Yeah? 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 White hot? Yeah. Okay. EJ, no! Betrayal. Sorry, man. It was too easy. It was too easy. I deserve to be timed out for that. You see the news of the Kuznetsov. It caught fire while dry docked again. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't maintain a aircraft carrier. Deferred maintenance does that. Yeah. When it explodes, it goes. No, I think that's the French machine gun. Make sure you got to do it in burst. We send you Lafayette, and this is how you thank us. Remember, Alex, I give the most crap out to the people I like the most. The FAMAS will do that. It is not a jackhammer, it is a jockhammer. Sorry. Anyway. This is why I get no crap. Shut up, punk. I am aware, thanks. This is why you're never mean to Flyken. Oh, I'm mean to him. Banta, sometimes I look at you and I say, maybe that man is not Banta. Maybe he is the shadow of Banta. Even though your name says, I am Banta. Je m'appelle Banta. Sometimes I wonder. FYI, French for jackhammer is marteau piqueur. Literally spiking hammer. Oh. What sound did Vega make when it failed then? Hang on. Hang on. It probably sounded something like this.
Like I said at the time, I was riding on board with Mick Schumacher when he was one of the first ones, the first one to go onto the slick tyres.
Give me a second.
I watched his first couple of exploratory laps, and they were awful as he battled with the tyres to get them up to temperature.
I'm trying to find angry Charles Leclerc noises.
You don't really want to be the first ones to go onto the slicks.
Nope. Nope, it wasn't that one. Oh, where's the audio clip? Somebody has to find the audio clip of Leclerc getting super pissed. That's what it sounds like. I couldn't find it. Any radio conversation from the last 15 races? Yeah. 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 Oops. I clicked on a part. Alright. Let's go back over to KSP. Now, I Googled Scott Manley and this came up. Linprod, if this is Scott Munley, I'm going to be a little annoyed. This gets linked like once a week. Nope, that's even worse. Nope. That is Flagging. What's this? I don't know what that is, but alright. What about Scott Munley? Scott Munley. Oh, that's still funny. That's an old Kerbal joke, dudes.